What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to Sports with Ray, episode 11. Hope everybody's weekend has been good. You know, we're in the full swing of things now with the season. All seasons kind of colliding. You got MLB, you got Major League Baseball getting ready to go into the playoffs. You got college football in full effect. You got the NFL in full effect. Also, you have the NBA just opened their training camps. It's a lot of good. Fall is my favorite time of the year, to be honest. You get to wear all your gear, depending on where you live at, you get the full ensemble of your repertoire. You can put a lot of combinations together. So, I love fall, I'm not even gonna lie. Appreciate anybody listening to this, rocking with us. You can check me out on my YouTube page, Ray Rob, REIROBB. Handles, social media handles, REIROBB97 on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I was gonna say Twitch, not Twitch. TikTok. The Ray Rob Report page on Facebook. Tap in. There's a lot of good content, good stuff on there. So, just briefly, I just want to go over a couple of things. I'm going to start with the Buckeyes. Shout out to the Buckeyes. Buckeyes won 52-21 against Wisconsin. If you looked at the stats, you can take it for what it's worth. Jim Leonard has had statistically one of the elite defenses over the last 5 years as far as yards, points per game. He's in the top 5 in all of those statistical categories. Jim Leonard was a safety. He was All-American safety that played at Wisconsin. Then he was in the league. He was a very solid player. Then he went back, became the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin. And since he's been back, he's obviously, depending on how their season goes, he's either the head coach in waiting or somebody's going to get him away. I feel like he has an affinity for his alma mater. So if it doesn't work out, if they happen to flounder this year, Leonard's going to take over that program. And I think if he's there, watch out, because he's younger. Chris, no disrespect, Chris is older. Leonard is younger. He can relate. People see what he can do. And Wisconsin's already hard to recruit, but he'll get some people in there. But anywho, so Ohio State just ran up and down the field against them. I was really impressed. It was good to see. I mean, they had their struggles a little bit. I like what I'm seeing out of Ohio State, because the question, I'm not really worried about the offense. I mean, I do want to see the offensive line. The offensive line last year was a little bit, they got pushed around when it really mattered. They had size, but they didn't have force when it really counted. I like how they're playing for the most part, making headway, both lines, the offensive and defensive line, getting penetration and pushing people back. That's what you want to see. Whoever controls the line of scrimmage really controls the game. And then O-State, they picked up where they left off the week before. Scored just like this. They got the tight end into the game, Case Stover, 4 catches, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was good to see that, because it also gives, they have a plethora of weapons. Of course, JSN didn't play, Jackson Smith and Jigba, taking their time with him. I hope this isn't a season where he's just injured. I hope he can get fully recovered, because it's just unfortunate. It's good in a way because you're getting the young players to get some clock and getting some experience. But just for him personally, hopefully it's not one of those lingering issues like he only plays a couple games and doesn't get healthy to the end. I feel like his status is already solidified anyway, but just for, just hopefully that he can get into the groove of things, he can come back fully healthy. Because, the hamstrings are very tricky. But in his absence, Julian Fleming came and played. Fleming had 4 catches as well. He got his first touchdown. Abuka had 118 yards. CJ was like 17 out of 27. Around like 287 yards, threw 5 TDs. Just real efficient. He did throw his first pick. That's good. It's kind of something to work on. But the offense is moving at a great clip. Mayan Williams really took the bull by the horns in the first half. It didn't seem like he got in the second half because it was like it's almost as if they tried to. They wanted Travion. Travion starts, of course, but the offense got moving when Mayan got in there. He had 11 carries for 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. He averaged over 9 yards a carry. They started getting chunk plays. He was a load. They did not want to tackle that guy. And then it was almost like he softened them up. And then in the second half, Travion kind of did his thing. He had 21 carries. He had 121 yards. So just real balance on both fronts. Score was 52-21, as I said. But for the most part, the defense was spectacular. They held them. Those touchdowns they kind of scored were when the second units and backups were in. And to think about it, Denzel Burke didn't play. Cam Brown didn't play. They were without at least 3 or 4 starters on each side of the ball. So you had 2 brand new corners, and they still were able to gel. McAllister didn't play. So they had a lot of people out, but they still got it together. Tommy Eichenberg, I just want to say I apologize. I was talking about you crazy. I'm going to continue. I talked about you crazy. Last year, you made tackles, but you seemed like you were a step late. And in hindsight, it's probably just indicative of the whole team. The whole defense was a step behind because the defense that you guys were in, you were not in a position to succeed. You were in a position to react a step late. And then you can see in this defense, like he flashes. You saw towards the Rose Bowl, he got better. You can tell he improved. But in this defense, it's almost he gets it. He's able just to pin his ears back. He can read and dissect things. And he's everywhere. He's in coverage. He's in the backfield. He's chasing down everything. He had 14 tackles. I think he's in the running for Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week and is well-deserved. He's on his way to being on the Nagorski and Lombardi list. That's how well he's playing. And it's good to see. And I apologize. I said they needed to get you to be transferred. I said that about Shaw and Shaw transferred. I meant that. I felt like Shaw wasn't really a good free safety. Maybe he might have been maybe a little better suited for this. But anyway, Eichenberg, you're a dog. Of course, Sawyer got a sack. They got him it's funny, I think Joey used to play that sometimes. They got him in a jack position where he just kind of moves around, almost like a de facto. He can be kind of like a de facto spy, or he can go whatever he wants. He still will play the edge, but they move him around, and I like the movement. I like that where they're building, where they're going. It's not perfect. There's still things to correct, but at the same time, dominate while they correct. And they look like the best team in the country to me. Georgia did the first couple weeks, and now they do. And so it's good to see. So that was just real quick. That was a great victory by Ohio State. And they're getting, younger players in so they can get experience. They have a plethora of talent. So that's great to see. Then, if you want, let's go to my other team. I'm not really going to do a rundown. It was a great week. And if I just want to I'm just going over my 2 squads mainly. The Chicago Bears. The coaching staff doesn't trust Justin Fields. And no matter what you say, you can tell his confidence is shaking a little bit. He's not reading coverage great. I'm a defender, but he's not reading coverage. He's not reading coverage. But he's also not being their offense is remedial, we want him to do rollouts, but you can just, it's not hard. Just get the ball to the playmakers, just flare screen, something, Everything is so predictable, and it's almost as if he knows if there's a mistake that happens, he's not gonna get to throw the ball. Just like if you're a shooter, you have to shoot a couple shots to get in a rhythm. They don't allow him to do that. But on the other hand as well, the run block, Yeah, the pass protection hasn't been great, but he also has missed things. But I feel like get him active early, put him in positions to succeed. The running game has been spectacular, so I get that as well. David Montgomery got injured. Thankfully, he's not going to be out too long. The injury's not as bad as it was as initially thought. Khalil Herbert came in, ran for 157 on 20 carries. He was amazing. I mean, you can't deny the running game is going well, but when you say you want the quarterback to get active, and then, I mean, there are plays that are being called that he may end up be running because there may not be no separation and things of that nature. But, I mean, it's a combination. He has to get better because he admitted he played like trash. He didn't play good, but also it just seems as if you can tell, like, when somebody has a quick hook or, he threw 2 bad interceptions, which didn't help. So it's a work. They got to build it up, but like it's the offense is real remedial. I've been talking crazy about Matt Nagy and everything like that, but they're like you don't just take the ball out of its hands. I mean, unless you don't really want him, or it's a work in progress. So the main thing is we still won 23-20 thanks to the defense. Bojack got Eddie Jackson. Good revival. You can see he's flourishing in his defense. Jaquan Brisker playing great. Of course, Roquan Smith, 16 tackles, a key interception. The defense is playing timely, and they're not shut down, but they are get stops when they need to. Because sometimes you can almost feel the gravity kind of being sucked out of the stadium because the offense is so impotent. And they're not the dominant defense where, like we had Khalil and McKinney, like, okay, we can make a stop all the time, But they're coming up with key plays. And we weren't supposed to be that good this year. So the fact that they're 2-1, that's a testament because these are games that young teams usually lose and they're already winning, so that just builds confidence. In the NFL, the majority of the games are close anyway, so in my opinion, just build off that. I mean, it's better to be 2-1 than 0-3 like the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm just saying it's that close. They could easily be 2-1. Like, that's how close these games are. The NFL is a couple plays. I know there's a talent discrepancy for some teams, but really, if you're in the league, you're elite. And so if you got people to put you in position to win and you play the cleanest, you give yourself a chance to be successful. And that's all you can really ask for. So I dig that. So yeah, the offense, I'm very concerned about the passing game. But they'll just have to work on that. To me, like I said, you give me some easy throws. I don't care if you go 3 and out. Throw 3 quick passes. Throw some flair. I mean, but then it's almost as if when they do try to do those kind of plays, everybody I know, and if I know, it seems as if the defense knows and they're ready to attack. I don't know because David Mills looks way more comfortable as a passer in their offense. Now, granted, I mean, he does have a little better line, but he made key mistakes too. It's just as if I don't know. I don't think our coaching staff is helping Justin in any way. But they know better. But because now the focus is always going to be on that. The first game it was muddy and all. You just got to let him get loose. Play to his strength. That's how I feel, and he has to be better. But at the end of the day, 2-1 is better than 1-2, and everybody's talking about all these other teams, but we're all in first place. We're tied for first place, which nobody expected. They expected us to be 0-3. So I'm glad about that, and we can definitely build upon that. And we play the Giants this week, who, Daniel Jones and Justin Fields look just alike. Hopefully, Justin can look at that and say, hey, I don't want to be down this path, and just go from there. Nothing against Daniel Jones. I just didn't think he was that guy. I always thought Justin was that guy, but I always did feel that Justin did hold on to the ball too long. Even in college, you can get that off in college, but not in the league. So, but go Bears, man, bear down. So we switch to the NBA real quick. Um, of course, the Ime Udoka situation is just Luke. I mean, there's details that we don't know about, but okay. I said they broke rules. You're not allowed to basically date anybody in the organization. But then it comes out as consensual, two consensual adults, but obviously they're both. Well, one is married. Ime technically isn't married, but he is. He did, everybody knows he's involved with Nia Long. And it seems like, unless it's like a subordinate kind of situation, if two people are guilty, unless there's something else, like is there coercion or something like that? I don't know. I'm not defending him, but if two people are in violation of the rules and only one person gets punished, there's something that's missing and we need to know. And then how everybody else ran with the story and all the other stuff. And I watched the NBA today. I got nothing but positive things to say about Malika Andrews. She ain't about to repeat this, but even if she did, it just Stephen A. and Kendrick, the way she kind of came at them when they were just saying, well, it's more than one person that was involved. And then she kind of made it seem like we're trying to victim blame and victim shame and down women. Like, no, like if the roles were, people, they say we want equal rights and everything, and I'm all for that. If that was a woman, if that was a woman coach and that was a guy, I don't think they would have the same energy. I don't think a lot of women that, just me personally. Because it's just simple. If two people broke the rules, two people need to be punished unless there's something that we don't know. If there was a coercion, using your authority, if that's what they're going with, But everybody knows everywhere people mess with each other at work because that's who you're around the most. That's the most common thing. So, but Kendrick, he has inside information because he works for that organization, but just the way she kind of just tried to shut him down there, it was just, and it wasn't about a man or woman thing. It's about two people that did wrong. Like, that's literally what it is. Now, if there's something else that comes out, I'll be glad to say, hey, okay, I'm glad this came out. Then, yeah, he deserves all the punishment he get. Like, if he did something really wrong, that's cool, but then he should be punished to the full extent. But if it's just because they was just, whatever, on some grown, they was on their grown, sneaking around, they got answers. They need an answer to their job because Ime's not coming back, and they got an answer to their partners. Everybody else, like, see, it was consensual. What y'all talking about? So that's how I feel about that. That's my opinion on that. It varies, I try to take emotion out of a lot of things. I just try to look at it for what it is. Because the majority of the things that we see and the discussions that take place is too much emotion that's being put into the discussions, opinions, point of views. And I'm not saying you have to be emotionless, but a lot of times the emotion is driving the argument instead of the information that has been deciphered and what everybody kind of knows or what you've researched. So I would just say, try to take a deep breath when you're conversing with discussions and things. Because discussions are supposed to, I always feel like good discussions bring better meaning because you're able to break down and go deeper. But in this day and age, everybody feels like their opinion is fact. And if you don't agree with their opinion and they feel a certain way, then they just block you out. And it's too much of that. So, but that's it. There's going to be more to come out of that situation, and then we'll have more information to kind of go on. Training camps open. So I paid attention to Brooklyn's training camp. I looked at Kevin Durant, what he said. Looked at Kyrie, what he said. It's funny. some people still aren't happy. I just seem like they just kind of just like, I feel like people get mad because you don't say what they want you to say, how they want you to say it. You know. And so, I mean, yeah, Kyrie, I mean, he kind of, I mean, yeah, I mean, they had a definitely a lot. He had a lot of culpability and responsibility why that season went to hell last year. And KD, he did too, but so did the organization. So, but it's like whenever those two explain something, it's always some kind of criticism, even if they're just being transparent and no matter what. But it's some people that you can tell. I just watch the TV that they listen to what they said, and I mean, I guess people say I'm an apologist. But I just listen to what they said. I'm not saying like some of the things that they were referring about and talking about weren't self-induced, but they just kind of reflected on it. And then like, they want to move forward. But it's almost like people want them to just basically just shit on themselves immaculately, like to a point where like, yeah, we told you, we knew you were wrong. Like they want you to grovel. Like I'm wrong. Could you ever forgive me? And nobody does that. But they just kind of looked at it in hindsight. They kind of reflected. Kyrie, I thought that was the most that he made sense to me in a while. I didn't think everything he said was perfect, but it made sense. Like, okay, he just didn't, he felt a certain way. He didn't want to take the vaccine. He didn't plan it, and then it just made it seem like he didn't want to play. But on the flip side, he doesn't play because he's always injured. So you got to acknowledge that as well, too. But he's been injured since college, so I get it. If they're healthy, they're going to have a great season. They're going to have a great season. I really feel that. Because as long as Kevin Durant is healthy, they're always going to be in the top three. That's how it's been. As long as he's healthy, they're a top 2 to 3 seed. They were number 1 before he got injured. So it's just, but he's also older. So, what should work, it's also almost perfect because if KD has to take a couple games off, if Kyrie has to take a couple games off, having Ben, you can win with Ben during the regular season because he can do everything and he can still run the offense and he can spread it out. He can be the de facto 5, and they'll be all right. I like the addition of Royce O'Neal. That gives them another defender. So you can have an offense where it can be, let's just say, if there's, they're on the bench, it can be Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Royce O'Neal, Ben Simmons, Nick Claxton. Or you can put Markieff Morris in there. Hopefully he's healthy, and they'll spread the floor out and they're versatile. And they have a couple of people that can play defense, switch, and you got a shooter. That's without the big 2. So Ben fits in with all of them to where they can make that work. As long as he's the youngest one, so he can do all the stuff. So I'm really excited to see. If they're healthy, they're winning the championship to me. That's how I feel. I don't care who they play. Clippers. If I'm calling the Clippers Brooklyn finals, if healthy, and that's a big thing because those teams haven't been healthy. So, but that would be a great matchup. Of course, for TV purposes, you would want to see Brooklyn Golden State. I would really want to see that. So yeah, if I can get Brooklyn Golden State and then next year Brooklyn Clippers, one of those would be great. Of course, you got the young and up and coming cats coming. I'll get into the teams more as the season gets closer. Like I said, the first day of training camp was today for most people. They got a couple weeks. Season starts in about 2 to 3 weeks. So as we get closer, I'll get a little breakdown of where I think teams are going to finish and everything. But this was a well-packed weekend. Also, Shakur Stevenson came in overweight in boxing, was still able to win. He's going to go to 135. He's an excellent boxer. He's with Top Rank, unfortunately, but he's going to do his thing. It's a couple fights that come on in a couple weeks. I know Deontay fights. I know Clarissa Shields fights. And there's one other person. So I'll definitely get an update on that. I'm going to be on here a little more. Even if it's shorts, 1 or 2 minutes, 2 to 3, just certain thoughts that I have. You know, I've been keeping them in, and I'm wondering, like, why am I keeping them in? Like, this is what the internet is for, to say what I feel what I say, state my opinion when it comes to this shit. So, excuse the language, but just really embedded with sports, and I just like to build, like the path that I'm on, get to it more, and I'm just ready. So, I really appreciate everybody just kind of hanging with me, chilling with your boy, Sports with Ray, episode 11. Like I said, once again, handles, you can go to my YouTube page, Ray Rob. All the social media handles, Ray Rob 97, REIROBB 97. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok. The Ray Rob Report is the Facebook page that you can go to as well. And thanks, man. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Have a good one. Until next time.